Sadly, appearances can often be deceiving. Remember that dream destination you had on your list for so long? Yeah, don't go there. From terrible tourist traps, misleading advertisements, overcrowded areas, to just a bad experience, we're counting down the top 8 places tourists think are beautiful until they get there. So don't pack your bags and get comfortable as we list some places that you may want to avoid despite their appeal. First, we have Las Vegas, Nevada. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Literally, it stays in Vegas. It's amazing at first, flashing lights, replicas of some of the world's most popular icons, luxurious hotels and casinos. Sports cars and limousines are pretty casual in Las Vegas, with the occasional sighting of a celebrity or a pop star. But after spending just a couple of hours, you'll be questioning yourself, why is this all there is? A long boulevard with places to throw your money? Tourists often leave candid reviews stating that Las Vegas experience should not last more than 24 hours unless you love gambling and have money. The city is a paradise for gamblers. A typical stroll down the boulevard will drain your pocket in no time. Accommodation, food, and entertainment are all terribly overpriced. Next up, Copenhagen, Denmark. Copenhagen, the city surrounded by gardens and canals, with amusement parks, museums, and observatories dating back to the 19th century. Copenhagen is honestly one of the most beautiful places you can visit as a tourist, although sometimes a destination is right, but the picture isn't. The Little Mermaid, one of the most popular destinations to visit as a tourist in Copenhagen. That magnificent bronze sculpture towering over the Mediterranean Sea is a sight to behold. That is until you actually get there. We can agree to one thing: the buildup is amazing. Walking along the waterfront to reach the eye-catching spectacle, the butterflies in your stomach as you're about to see a bronze mermaid right in front of your eyes, can be a little overwhelming. Most tourists often just end up feeling disappointed on arrival. What looks to be a giant structure is only about 1.25 meters or 4 feet tall and vandalized year-round. Someone actually went to point out that they thought it would be amusing to write "racist fish" with spray paint on the rock that the mermaid sits on. Now we have Blue Grotto, Capri. There's definitely something special about the intense blue water that mesmerizes your soul, leaving you in awe of its beauty. Legend has it that the famous sea cave was actually abandoned due to demons and evil spirits. Nowadays, the only demons and evil spirits there are the local guides and tourists. As soon as you get there, you're in for an overpriced logistical nightmare. Tourists fighting over who will get to go first. Only the highest bidder will win. The local guides will then charge you double or even triple just to board their motorboats and go through the cave for a short 2-minute tour on a second rowboat. And if that wasn't enough, the weather is so unpredictable that it is often inaccessible. Tourists have had nightmare experiences, calling the place a waste of time and advising travelers to just look at pictures and move on. Next on our list is Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona, once known as the favorite European vacation, is now just an overcrowded and worn-out destination. It's gotten so bad that the local authorities have actually had to limit cruises and airport expansions to prevent such a large influx of tourists each year. If you're looking to soak in the architectural brilliance of the city, it is not going to happen. With more than 25 million tourists traveling to Barcelona annually, the city is not what it used to be. Iconic landmarks have been worn down, the streets are overcrowded, and let's not forget tourist scams. If that wasn't enough, Barcelona has recently given the title pickpocket capital of the world. If there's one thing that annoys a tourist, it's more tourists. You know what annoys locals? All of the tourists. Only 1.6 million people call Barcelona home. Imagine a city of 1.6 million having to deal with more than 25 million tourists throughout the year. While the city is certainly beautiful, it does not live up to the hype anymore. More so, the tourism experience, which one remembers is no longer a great one, but locals are not to be blamed. The constant stream of tourists have brought Barcelona to its breaking point. If you are planning to cross Spain out of your traveling bucket list, consider visiting another city like Seville or Valencia. Next is Pisa, Italy. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is perhaps the most popular tourist destination in the locality. Opening in 1372, the Leaning Tower is 58 meters tall, has 8 stories, and is made completely of marble. It leans at an angle of almost 4 degrees because of an unstable foundation. Upon arrival, you'll find hordes of tourists getting photographed trying to support the tower and prevent it from falling. People don't actually get photographed beside the tower because they find it amusing, they get photographed because it's actually the only thing to do. At a handsome price of almost 20 euros, you can be lucky to climb the 300 stairs of the tower all the way to the top, where you won't exactly be grazing the clouds. If you've already visited attractions such as Florence Cathedral and its dome, then by all means, go ahead and visit the tower in Pisa that leans. Still, Italy has a lot to offer apart from just a tower people pretend to hold up. Up next is Lisbon, Portugal. While Lisbon truly is a sight to witness, it is now nothing less than an overcrowded neighborhood of tourists. It's gotten to the point that navigating a popular spot can actually make you claustrophobic. And if that isn't enough, the creativity of the locals is unparalleled. Now don't get us wrong, the locals are respectable and private people that don't find any entertainment in messing around with tourists. But some people have, however, found clever ways to make Lisbon heavy on your pocket, despite being one of the cheapest tourist destinations in all of Western Europe. Can't find an Uber? Don't worry, just hop in a taxi and make sure you ask them to turn on the meter. But only if it was so simple. Taxi drivers will often take the longest route possible to rack up the meter, claiming this is the shortest way to your destination. Also, if someone asks you to take their picture using an extremely expensive camera, don't do it. As soon as you hand back the camera, they'll drop it on purpose and ask you to pay for the damages. While you will certainly enjoy Lisbon for its beauty, if the streets are empty, the overcrowdedness and scams can dent your experience as a tourist. Now we have Mannequin Piss, Brussels. Brussels, the capital of Belgium, famous for its Gothic cathedrals, taverns, guild houses, and art. Oh, and at its center, there's a landmark, a 61-centimeter statue of a boy urinating. Let's be honest, if you visit Brussels, you definitely are going to visit the Mannequin Piss. But hey, at least you won't be expecting much because it's just a little boy urinating. What's even more surprising is that nearly thousands of tourists are lined up daily to take pictures of the boy with either disappointment or amusement on their faces. It's nothing new. Expectations often end up being bigger than the statue. The locals do find it amusing, however. Just a casual stroll through the city center, and you see a crowd of international faces taking pictures of a small boy urinating. Now that is funny. Travelers leave harsh reviews, with one person stating that it's the most overrated attraction in all of Europe. Not worth the time, energy, or effort. Just when we thought nothing could top The Little Mermaid, Mannequin Piss steps up the game. Don't cross out Brussels if that was on your list. There are still places worth visiting to make your trip memorable. And lastly, we have Kanpur, India. Tourists love India for four main reasons: food, culture, crowd, and iconic structures. Kanpur happens to have all four and is one of the most popular tourist destinations in India, ranking at the very top with the likes of Mumbai, Goa, and Jaipur. The Sri Radha Krishna Temple, Kanpur Zoological Park, and the Nanoreo Park are just some of the most visited places in Kanpur. Unfortunately, all places are not created equal. The city lacks necessary infrastructure to support tourism. After every 5 minutes, you are destined to find a heap of garbage, a patch of dung, or an overflowing drain. There are no dustbins, and the local authorities are not all that concerned with the overall health of the city. A few years back, Kanpur was at the top of every traveler's list when planning a trip to India. This was mainly because the city is an industrial hub, crafting world-class leather products. Tourists would flock to these shops and fill up their bags. Don't get carried away though. We'd advise you skip the shopping and pick a better destination in India. That's because Kanpur is considered to be one of the most polluted cities in the world. Regrettably, Kanpur is a lost gem that was once blooming with tourism, but now the city has lost its charm. So what do you think? Were any of these destinations on your list for 2022? Have you visited a place that you thought would be beautiful but wasn't? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.